So I'm slightly panicking making this YouTube video because, this is just so crazy for me, but you might have got here through my Instagram, @JulieSetterlin. Go give it a follow. But I have some really big news. And that news is that I am leaving my day job, my corporate job that I have had for 8 years. Now, before I share all of the tea, I'm gonna give you a flyby of what my life has looked like in the past few months that has led me to this decision. Well, I guess let's go back all the way to January of 2019 when my husband and I bought our very first house together. My husband is very handsome and handy. And in 2019, when we bought our first home, it is a beautiful Tudor style home that was just not the design or style of the interior that we loved. So we renovated the inside out of that home. I'm talking popcorn ceilings in every single room that he removed and paint in every single room. Luckily, the main thing that stayed throughout the house was the floors. But I actually have a whole video on my YouTube channel of like the before and afters, so you should check that out. But once we did that renovation and we have felt so proud of that project, of course, everything pretty much was DIY, so a lot of sweat equity in there. We just had this passion to do it again in another property that we could potentially own one day, but there was one roadblock, and that was the funds. Every time we would talk about getting an investment property of any kind, whether it was a long-term or a short-term rental, I would just stop right in my tracks because I was like, with investment loans of putting down 20 to 30%, especially in the market that we're in today and the prices of homes, I was like, there's just simply no way. Like, my husband is in ministry and I work a corporate job, but we just don't have enough to do that. Until one day when I was talking with my lender at the end of 2022 and just kind of sharing my passion and heart for owning a short-term rental one day and trying to create some passive income. And that's when she informed me of this loan called a primary residence loan that you can get with as little as 3 to 5% down. So once I heard this information that I had never heard of from anyone before, I immediately crunched the numbers on how much house we could afford, knowing that this little down payment is required. So once we found our number, I just went right on Zillow, and I remember so clearly, I'll never forget, it was like 11 o'clock at night, about a day or two after that I just found out about this loan. So this happened very quickly once we found out about the loan. At 11 o'clock at night, I found the home, and one of the craziest things, it's such a God story, the way that it all unfolded, but one of the craziest things was that this house was minutes away from our current home. And I remember it was like 11 o'clock I found it, and I was like, 5 a.m. It was like 5 or 6 a.m. Obviously, our house was still all asleep, and I just jumped in the car and I was like, I've got to go see this house. Because you see something on Zillow and then you drive by and you're like, oh, that's why it's priced the way that it is, or whatever. So I had to just see it for myself. And when I drove by, I was like, oh my goodness, this is better than the pictures. This is beautiful. There's lands in front of it. It was just so exciting because it really made things real for me. And basically from there was just so many other answered prayers throughout the process, because one little thing is that, like I said, you only needed that certain amount to put down because of this specific loan. But then of course, you still need closing costs when buying a home. We were not, hoping that we had to put out anything more than the 3 to 5%. And, you know, a part of our offer, we just put that in there that we wanted the seller to 100% cover closing costs. And we knew that in the market and the competitiveness that we were in, that it was likely going to be turned down. But because this was all just an exciting dream, I was just putting really big asks out there, and they accepted it. So that was super exciting because our closing costs were 100% covered, and that was just another confirmation that, like, okay, we're doing this. Like, this is such an answered prayer and just so exciting. So all of that to say, we of course got this rental property in January of this year, 2023, and my husband and I are renovating the entire home and just kind of putting our style on it. It's all cosmetic, nothing major. In the meantime, we are able to rent out our previous home. As we were purchasing our rental property, I was encouraged many times by our realtor that I had an eye for this and that I could probably do really well in this industry. And I kind of just laughed at the idea, and it honestly, the hesitation was mainly coming from not knowing enough about the industry and about all that goes into it. So I dug deep into the podcasts and the books and researched, and I started to think that my 8 years working for the largest home in America has provided me with a tremendous amount of skills in my tool belt of gracious hospitality, communications, marketing, social media. And then I realized that there is a correlation from that to becoming a real estate agent. And once I realized that, I kind of started to get on board with a lot of it, and then more doors just started opening, and I was offered a position. So that is why I am quitting my job. I am going into the world of real estate, and I know that a lot of people are in this world. In fact, many people that I talk to, they will tell me that their mom, their grandmom, their mailman, their dog, everyone is a real estate agent, which is exciting, but I'm not looking to become just another person that you know who is in real estate. I want to take the tools that I have put in my tool belt over these past 8 years in the corporate world and transfer them into serving families well, whether that be an investment property or house hacking or just looking for a home that works best for your family. I want to be that resource for you that can help you get connected and get you into the place that fits you well. Most importantly, I want to be a friend and someone who can take you through one of the biggest purchases you'll likely make in this lifetime and make it an enjoyable experience for you. I have so much more to share. I'm so excited, and I want to take you along on this journey with me. So I hope you will follow along. And if you have any interest in learning about maybe how you could create passive income or look for a home that would better fit your needs, I would love to grab a cup of coffee. So let me know. But keep following along, subscribe, like, do all the things, and I'll see you real soon.